I'm going to give the microphone over to Barry, King Schools. Barry? All right.
Thank you so much. Well, I would like to thank you all for coming and spending time with us today. We have 6 bits of news that we'd like to share today, and each one of those has a press release associated with it that will be sent out immediately after the press conference. So if you don't get it all, please ask questions as I go. Don't hesitate to stop me at any point, and I can clarify things a little bit more, maybe simplify and make them fun, which is what we do at King Schools anyway. But afterwards, expect press releases, and you'll have the opportunity to also, if you did not receive an actual invitation in an email to be here today, talk to John Dowd, make sure he has your email, because that's the list that he's going to use to send out the releases. Okay, so I'm going to start with 2 new courses at King Schools, and we're really excited about each one of these. And the first of them is a brand new course called Maneuvers for the Private Pilot. And what this is taking each of the maneuvers in the private pilot ACS and actually taking them up into the air, demonstrating them, showing the student how to set up properly for the maneuver, how to execute the maneuver, and then all of the possible errors and corrections for those errors that students typically make with that maneuver. And we go through the entire ACS, landings, takeoffs, in-flight maneuvers, loss procedures, everything else from the pilot's point of view inside the aircraft. And you probably know King Schools from our ground school, which of course is a big part of learning to fly, is gaining all of the knowledge and passing your written exam. And also in our practical test prep, where John or Martha are in the airplane with a DPE and going through an actual check ride, and you get to see the ground portion, the oral portion, and the in-flight portion. What we didn't have was everything that happens in between. And what happens in between is a whole lot of flight lessons. And we believe that we can contribute to the student's success if they have the opportunity before getting into the airplane to actually see the maneuver, see how it's done, see the mistakes that can be made, and benefit from tips and tricks before they actually get into the airplane. Then when they get into the airplane, the instructor is likely to say, wow, where did you learn that? That was awfully quick. I've never seen anybody so quickly master a steep turn. That's our goal, is to give them that opportunity. And what does that mean? For a $59 course, they get to save time and a whole lot of money. Because money in the airplane, of course, goes very quickly. So the idea is get them prepared, all ready to go. They get into the airplane, they'll know exactly what to do before they're asked to do it. And so we've gone through, we've taken each one of those, and let's go ahead to the next slide. And so this is the pilot journey, and covering the whole pilot journey with the King Schools courses, from the ground school through the in-flight training through to the check ride preparations. And I've got a sample, and maybe John, if you're able to bring that up, we'll do a quick sample.
At a towered airport, we'll be busy with the radio, waiting for takeoff clearance and listening in on instructions given to other aircraft to increase our situational awareness while we're watching out for landing traffic. If we're at a non-towered airport, like we are today, we have to be especially alert to what other aircraft at the airport are doing. Now, once we've been cleared for takeoff, or we've determined we can safely depart a non-towered field, we'll do one last check while lining up on the runway to ensure the approach path and the runway is clear, and then we'll begin our takeoff. Now, at a non-towered airport, we'll make our traffic announcement. Scirocco traffic, Skyhawk 201 Kilo Sierra, taking runway 24 to remain in the pattern for landing. Scirocco. Now I'm going to smoothly add full power with the throttle. And a quick check of the engine instruments shows everything in the green, so we're good to go. And now I'm steering with my feet, so we're still doing that, steering with our feet. Now I'll glance at the airspeed indicator and make sure that the airspeed's alive, and that says our pitot tube is good and the instrument's working. And just as the controls start to get a little bit firm, I'm going to add a little bit of back pressure. And we've established the aircraft into a climb attitude and we are flying. And that just means that I'm going to visually raise the nose of the airplane to just above the horizon line.
All right, thanks, John. So this is just to give you just a little bit of a sample of the style of presentation. And you'll notice that we use insets, we use drone shots, we use everything to illustrate as much as we can the full experience of each maneuver. And if we'd have continued along, you would have seen me go over the typical errors and corrections for those errors that students make. So we go through the entire ACS that way. Like I say, it's $59 for the course, but it's also included in all of our private pilot bundles. So typically, new customers of ours will purchase a bundle, and that will include the ground school, the test prep, the flying prep with the maneuvers, and the check ride prep. And those will all be included together, and depending on which bundle you purchase, it'll also include several or possibly many individual single subject skills courses as well. So that's our brand new course, Maneuvers for the Private Pilot. It includes myself as the instructor and John as the instructor from a lot of these previews that we had previously shot for the Cessna course, and all together they cover everything in the ACS. So let's go to the next slide. So the next course is a wonderful course. It's a free course and has been available for some time already as a YouTube playlist. And we looked at it. We put out all of these videos because we noticed that a lot of students were searching for knowledge on how to use the E6B. And in our private pilot course, Martha does an amazing job of explaining the E6B. And both sides of the E6B, the calculation side as well as on the back of the E6B, is the wind side where you do your cross-country planning. And knowing how to do that makes you absolutely bulletproof in terms of always having a device that you can use to calculate whether your batteries work or not. And that's the one thing that a lot of students get hung up on their check ride, is they show up with a fancy electronic calculator and the DPE notices it, maybe lets them go along for a little while, and then says, you know what? Your batteries just failed. What are you going to do now? And the expectation is that the student has at least a backup, if not using the manual E6B as their primary device. So in a short time, having those videos up on YouTube, we had over 350,000 views of those videos and amazing comments and remarks. So we looked at it and said, well, why don't we make this information even easier to access for free? So we took those videos, we rolled them into our learning management framework as a free course that you can come to kingschools.com/E6B and access that free course, load it into your library, and then you can also use our free companion app that's available on your iPhone in order to download the course and take it even if you're offline. And it's the same companion app that we use for all of our King Schools courses. And so you have all of those benefits with this free E6B course. So we made it available for free, and we hope that a lot of students will benefit from it and have the ability to recover from a failed battery. And so I would encourage that we get that word out, and that we give more and more student pilots the ability to not only know how to use the E6B, but feel comfortable and feel confident. And Martha really gives them the tools to be able to do that with all the typical King memory aids and so on. My favorite one that I still remember from years ago when I did my private pilot was Martha emphasizes the wind side of the computer. And why the wind side? Well, because when you're working with the wind side of the computer, you start with, imagine what?
The wind.
The wind. Exactly. So you always know that first step. You're going to put the wind under the true index, and that's going to get you started. So of course the course itself incorporates all of those standard King, simplify, clarify, and make it fun. So that's that. The next bit of news that I'd like to talk about, and I'm honored to talk about and thrilled to talk about, is that John and Martha were recently honored in Washington, D.C. by AOPA, Air Safety Institute, and received the inaugural and first Richard G. McSpadden General Aviation Safety Award. So it's the first time that the Safety Award has been renamed the Richard McSpadden Award, and John and Martha were chosen as the recipients of it because of the contribution that they have made individually and through King Schools over the years for aviation safety. And one of the things that attracted me to King Schools from the very beginning was a focus that King Schools had on risk management. And John and Martha really pioneered the conversation about risk management in the general aviation business. At a time when I remember back, a common slogan was the most dangerous part of the trip was the drive to the airport. And I was so impressed when I first heard John and Martha say, that's not right. That is not the safest, or it's not the most dangerous part of a flight. The most dangerous part of the flight is failing to manage the risks of flight by not recognizing the risks. And John and Martha, through the years, have used their own personal experiences and have been completely open about mistakes they've made, but not just the mistakes they've made, but how they changed as pilots and became active proponents of risk management, including a series of courses that we have at King Schools, which are risk management courses, starting with risk management for pilots and ending with risk management for passengers and the pilots that they fly with. So over the years, John and Martha really have led those efforts. John was on the committee, the ARC, that came up with the ACS that's now pretty much across all of the certificates and ratings, with the most recent release of the CFI ACS. And I think that what was significant about that was John and Martha helping John with the developed ideas around incorporating risk management right into the ACS, making it a part of training right from the beginning, and test it before somebody is given their certificate to be a private pilot, to be an instrument-rated pilot. They are tested, and part of that test includes how they identify and manage the risks of the flight. So I think all of those things were contributing factors in how that's been a constant thread throughout King Schools that I'm proud of and want to continue. And John and Martha want to continue for the company. And this award is really a recognition of that, and a recognition of that contribution through the years. We're very, very thrilled. It was fun to watch it presented by Paul Deers, the VP of Operations for the Air Safety Institute. And I've just got a short video to watch, which AOPA put together that honors John and Martha and their contribution to aviation through the years.
The AOPA Air Safety Institute is pleased to present the Richard G. McSpadden General Aviation Safety Award to John and Martha King, co-founders and co-chairmen of King Schools Incorporated. For 50 years, King Schools has delivered high-quality instructional courses to over 1 million pilots in training.
Well, hello, flying enthusiast. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
John and Martha got their start in the early 1970s when they began teaching flying through live seminars. After conducting these seminars for over a decade, they transitioned to video courses and revolutionized the flight training industry.
Now, let's talk about the single thing that bothers more pilots on landing than anything else, and that is a crosswind landing.
Through video instruction, John and Martha have used their engaging personalities and wide breadth of knowledge to teach more pilots than anyone in the history of aviation. For many years, teaching more than half the pilots in the United States learning to fly.
You'll often see direction signs on the side of the runway before you get to a taxiway, pointing out the taxiway exit.
Today, their company, King Schools Incorporated, which started in a spare bedroom in the King's house, operates out of a dedicated complex in San Diego, California, that includes a video and software production facility. King Schools continues to be a leader in pilot training, developing multimedia programs on various aviation topics. Risk management. In September of 1994, John and Martha achieved a significant milestone, becoming the first and only couple to both hold every category and class of FAA rating on their pilot and instructor certificates. Martha stands as the only woman to achieve this complete set of ratings. They are also the first and only couple to be inducted into the National Aviation Hall of Fame. They remain active aviators, regularly flying a diverse range of aircraft, from jets to piston airplanes and helicopters. John and Martha have worked hard to improve risk management practices in general aviation, speaking to thousands of pilots each year on aviation safety, and working with the FAA's National Aviation Safety Program in producing safety videos. Through their decades of effort, John and Martha have made flight training accessible, understandable, fun, and undoubtedly safer for millions of pilots throughout the world. From the AOPA Air Safety Institute, we offer our sincere congratulations to John and Martha King for their pioneering work in flight training and safety.
John and Martha, congratulations. Well deserved.
All right, well, John and Martha, I'd like to turn over to you to maybe make a couple comments on what that award means to you, and then we'll lead into our scholarship presentations.
Well, we'll talk about helicopters. We're going to talk about helicopters completely.
Oh, I guess if you have to.
Well, first of all, if it weren't for organizations like AOPA and NAFI and other organizations like that, we wouldn't have Women in Aviation, excuse me, all the help. If it weren't for those kinds of organizations, we wouldn't have aviation today as we know it in the United States. And those organizations are the lifeblood of letting us achieve in the community what we have been able to do. As I said, I didn't say it here, I'll say it now. It's a case, in this case, this aviation safety award, catch someone doing something right and reward them for it. And that's what they did in our case. They're looking for things that they can provide recognition to us for. We're delighted to receive the recognition, and we're also delighted in the outcome for the community. I think we have changed the way we think about aviation risk management. I think we do a good job. I think we've changed the vocabulary. That changes how we think. And I think that has happened. We should quit talking so much.
Well, one of the things I wanted to say is we knew Richard McSpadden not nearly as well as I would have liked to have, but we valued very much his comments and his analyses of accidents and the thoughtful YouTube productions he did, and he has a fabulous video that was on YouTube about whether or not you can actually do the impossible turnaround to get back to the airport, and the net result being, well, it really all depends on the type of airplane. In a Coke, probably. In a Bonanza or a Baron, almost certainly not. So a lot of things to think about there, and he went through it in a very, very thoughtful way that I think will have a huge impact in the future. We were very much honored to receive the inaugural award, especially since it was named after Richard, and that's very special to us. Shall we?
Next thing we're going to talk about
is helicopters.
And basically, King schools, as you can see, Martha and I got every category class because we like learning, and we've tried to have the whole King schools community like learning and support people's learning. And we had one tall guy, Barry Knuttila, the CEO. Why don't you come up and show him how tall you are compared to me? And Barry has been the CEO of King Schools for how long now?
It's been 15 years. It's been 10 years CEO. I've been with the company for 28. It'll be 2 years in July.
I'm supposed to be what's in.
Yeah.
And I look up to Barry for obvious reasons. But Barry has a zest for life, a zest for flying, and we went flying together one time in a helicopter. They liked it, and just did well at it. One of the things that you learn when you start helicopters, and it's true for helicopters more than in airplanes, that you cannot take an airplane pilot, put them in the helicopter, and expect to fly them. They expect you to fly it safely. They just can't do it, and it requires a physical training to do it. And that was a challenge for Barry, and he decided he was going to get that training and become a helicopter pilot. And King Schools supports people who learn to fly and encourages them, and Barry just accomplished that. And I'm thrilled to announce that he can actually fit in a helicopter.
That was the biggest question starting out, was whether I was going to fit in the thing or not.
As you can see from this slide, Barry has a lot of ratings, and he's done a lot of different flying. He's typed in the Falcon 10, and as is his wife, Virginie, now, and she's a professional jet pilot. So Barry is going on, it looks like, to his starting to work on his commercial helicopter certificate, and who knows where he's going to end up. It's just it's a very fun journey, seeing things in different ways. Seeing it through the bubble of a helicopter is not quite the same, I assume, as seeing it upside down from the biplane, but...
You don't want to see it that way from a helicopter. You can avoid it at all, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's very visible.
Now, the next subject we're going to talk about
is scholarships.
Women in Aviation International, who does how many dollars in the scholarships a year, Peggy?
Let me get the mic for Peggy if you want to come up and join us, Peggy.
No, you're helping out, Peggy. Peggy is the founder of Women in Aviation International. And I'm going to ad-lib a little bit. I'm going to say that Women in Aviation International has a philosophy rather than being competitive with men, but with collaborating with men. And it's more about opportunity than it is about rights.
That's great. I said it very well. Thank you.
Did I say that? Okay. I'm supposed to be able to.
And this is our 9th year of jointly doing a scholarship through Women in Aviation for female flight instructors to either acquire their CFI certificate or to add a rating to that certificate.
And I tell people Women in Aviation is my favorite aviation organization. And the reason I say that is not because Peggy's so good looking. The reason I say it, I'm in trouble already. The reason I say it is because Women in Aviation has helped more people accomplish their dreams of flying and do what they want to do than any other aviation organization. Is that a fair statement?
Thank you, Don.
Are you going to let her talk now?
No. Okay, now the question is, how many dollars a year in scholarships? How many aviation?
The last 5 or 6 years, 900,000 to 1 million a year.
So that's helping a lot of people achieve.
No, I mean, you've been doing this since WAI started, which officially as an organization, if I remember right, was 1994. And so the total scholarships you've given away has got to be
over 15 million. Although the organization was really created by the IRS as a nonprofit in December 1994. We announced to the conference attendees in March of '95 that there was now an organization that you could join. And we had the first scholarship was at that 1995 conference. We had a table in the exhibit hall selling raffle tickets, $1 a chance, 6 tickets for $5, and I forget what the giveaway prize was. We raised a little over $1,000, gave out 2 $500 scholarships, so we were off and running on our scholarship program. We were excited. That very next year, the conference is going to be in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Northwest Airlines came up and said, we'd like to help you on that conference next year, which is tours. We'll help with the cost of one of the meal functions. And, when we were starting the scholarship program, we wanted help. And I thought, oh, great, maybe another $1,000. Well, this is Northwest. Maybe another $5,000, something like that. And they said, well, we're not thinking of a cash scholarship. And at first, my heart sank. And it's, obviously, I didn't say anything. But they said, well, we want to offer a type rating. It's like, a type rating? That would be just fine. They said, announce the scholarship. We had some minimum requirements. The applications came in with 4 in the Northwest at the lunch that year. Senior VP from Northwest stood up at the podium and said, the winner is, and announced her name. She ran up to the stage, screaming from the back row where she was sitting, all excited. And he said, well, young lady, and it was kind of like the thing with Barry and us, because he was like, well, young lady, you won the scholarship. What airplane do you want to fly? She came right back to going 747.
So what's that worth, about 40, 50,000?
Back then, probably 25 or 30 back in that time. But other airlines came up and said, well, we want to help with the scholarship program. And then one of the things I wanted to mention, the scholarships for women in aviation, yes, there are a lot of flight scholarships, including the Martha King CFI scholarship award.
For a female flight instructor, right?
But we said we still have scholarships for people if you're just starting and you want to get your private pilot. There's some for an instrument rating or a commercial rating or a helicopter. And I have to say, I did my training at a Robin Star 22 this one. I love the aircraft. But also not just pilots, but also if you wanted to be an aircraft maintenance, AT mechanic, avionics training, airport management. It just kept growing because people said, we want to add to the scholarship people to help individuals reach their goals. And we even had so much call one day, they said, you know, you have a lot of scholarships for students. And part of that came out of because Human Aviation kind of grew out of a conference from the university. I want to offer a scholarship for a person who's over age 45 who wants to start learning to fly, and we'll provide them a private pilot scholarship. So people are approaching us with ideas for how to make scholarships going.
This is how it gets to be $1 million a year.
Yeah, 15 million total.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, our scholarship winner with WAI this year is Jamie Clays. She's in Alaska right now. The Alaska weather is good enough to begin flying, and so she's hard at work up there.
That's why she's not here.
Right. She has her flight instructor certificate already. She will be using the scholarship to add on an instrument instructor rating onto that. Jamie grew up in Alaska. She was born and grew up in Bettles, Alaska. Anyone ever heard of Bettles, Alaska? Okay, well, John and I happen to have, because we used to teach life ground schools up in Alaska in Fairbanks. And if you know where Fairbanks, Alaska is, some people maybe know Fairbanks, Bettles is about 300 miles to the northwest of Fairbanks, just before you get to the North Slope, to the Brooks Range and the North Slope.
And it's on the north side of the Arctic Circle.
Correct. And if you want to get to Bettles, you either fly or you go by dog sled, because there are no roads. And her family owned the lodge there in Bettles, and who had a charter operation, and so she grew up with that. And as she learned to fly, she became very aware of how important flying was to all of the Native Alaskan villages and peoples, because it's their lifeline, it's their pickup trucks. The 185, you know, they don't have pickup trucks, they have 185s, because you got to take stuff out to the village. Everything goes out. You order a pizza, it comes in by airplane. And which, to me, it just blows my mind. But she wants to give back to Alaska by working with Native people there, Native kids, to help them become flight instructors, commercial pilots in their local air taxis, and stay in Alaska and keep providing those kind of transportation services. So she's...
Can I elaborate a little bit? Thank you. I cut my own.
Oh, you do have a bike, don't you?
And so do you.
So I can't take it away from you very easily.
No, it's going to be...
Why am I using this when I have one?
A wrestling match, take it away.
Okay.
One of the things that Jamie wanted to do, she became aware that Native American kids growing up in Alaska don't have much opportunity. They don't see anything out besides their local community. People come and go, maybe if they're in Bettles, but many of these communities, no one ever comes and goes. And might see a bush plane every now and then, but they have no opportunity to grow and to expand themselves. And she feels that she's got a mission. She had an adopted brother who who died, and she just felt that she wished his life had been better. And she wishes that all of the Native American children living in Alaska had a life that was better. And so what she wants to do is improve their knowledge, their awareness of the world, and their lot. And she feels that the way to do that best and quickest for them is to teach them to fly. And so she's going to use her flight instructor skills to teach all of rural Alaska to fly. And that's her mission that she's got to work hard at. And there are, I'll tell you right now, there are these scholarships we give have 4 criteria. The first one is, has the applicant demonstrated initiative and achievement? And she has, and she is going to. Second criteria is, will they help their community? Will they make a contribution to the community? She's going to, and we've got someone else here for the NAFI scholarship who's going to. And the third one is, will we help them?
Will our scholarship be significant in their getting where they want to be?
And the fourth one is will it make a great story? And this is a great story, and this is going to be a great story, to make a great story. And that's what's so strong about most of these scholarship winners. And for us, we're the people who get the benefit because we meet these people and know them for the rest of their lives or the rest of our lives, let's hope. And so we get to meet what I like to call people not normal. Then we get to meet not normal people, because normal people don't do stuff like, oh, we're another person.
Right, like Eric.
Okay,
Eric.
so
You want to have Eric come up?
yeah, Eric, come up, big boy. Yeah, let me stay here. I'm sorry, everybody. Eric has worked as an aide to Congress before. Is that correct, Jimmy? For how many?
8 years now.
8 years. And Eric applied for a scholarship from National Association of Flight Instructors. And you are going to use this to do, what are you going to use the award for?
I want to give back to the aviation community that has given so much to me. I didn't have any aviators in my family. When I was 14 years old, I took a discovery flight, an aviation bug bit me, and I knew I had to become a pilot. And in the 14 years since that flight, I've learned how crucial it is to have mentors in aviation, whether that be your flight instructor, whether that be through organizations that I've been involved in, EAA, my local chapter, Young Eagles, the Civil Air Patrol, mentors in my flying club, or just folks around the airport that are sharing stories while we're hangar flying. And so mentorship is something that I want to give back to the aviation community. Look forward to doing so.
So one of our 4 criteria is, will he make a contribution to his community? Yes, yes, he will. So he's a contributor. And I'll answer the first one. Have they demonstrated achievement? And I get that.
Well, initiative and achievement. Yes.
And he's a lawyer. And he is the counsel for the newly elected senator from North Carolina, Ted Budd, D-U-D-D. Did I get that right?
You got it right.
And he's Senator Budd's counsel. So yes, he's demonstrated initiative and achievement.
And he's his counsel, because of his aviation background, he can give informed counsel about aviation matters that come before the senator and Congress.
Senator Ted Budd is also a pilot.
He is, yes.
And so they might be able to talk to each other. And then the fourth thing is will they help the community, and will it make a good story? It's going to make a great story. So,
Karen, you want to come on up and we'll present Eric with his prize?
Would you have anything to say?
Yeah. Okay.
I'll bet Karen can talk. Karen is chairman of the National Association of Flight Instructors.
Well, thank you for allowing us to partner with you on this very important scholarship. Congratulations, honestly, to Eric again, because it is a great story, and it's so important to have good instruction, because every pilot, no matter what they're flying right now, they started with a primary instructor, didn't they? And they've been instructed throughout their career.
And we have to congratulate John and Martha as phenomenal flight and ground instructors throughout their entire careers as well.
I like the way you talk.
You want me to take the mic away?
No, I don't need to.
Thank you. We really appreciate the opportunity to partner with you for all these years. And John and Martha make the selection, and they've always done a wonderful job in choosing a period appropriate scholarship.
Probably get to know people like Eric.
That's right.
Wonderful.
Let's get a shot, Karen, of your shaking hands with Eric and John.
All right.
I get to do the short one.
Yeah. With that.
Oh, he also gets this bag,
Right.
a flight bag. And I'm supposed to know what's in that flight bag.
Well, there is a certificate with the, what he gets is $5,000 cash, moolah money. For what?
Is it in there?
No. But also access to all King Schools courses for life, including Firks for Life. So the total package is about $20,000.
Firks are flight instructor refresher courses, so you have to do that every year. He gets that for life. So he gets all the King Skills courses for life.
Okay, and that is almost the end. Does anyone have any questions that you want to ask before Mary moves us on? Any? Okay.
Are you going to move us on?
I am.
Well, I would just be remiss if I did not thank King Schools and NAFI for supporting this scholarship. It means the world to me. Really looking forward to getting my CFI certificate with it. I'd also like to thank in advance my wife Jessica for tolerating all the time I'll be spending at the airport in Jamestown. Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. What an honor and privilege it is to be able to work with such accomplished folks and to be able to play a role in their future endeavors.
Excuse me, sir.
So we are absolutely thrilled to have you on board as now an alumni recipient of the King Schools sponsored scholarship. This one together with NAFI, which we're very proud of that relationship. Very, very proud to be able to partner with the organization that so well represents the CFI community, because that's really what we're all about. We're about teaching and doing the very best job of teaching and making pilots that are competent, that can enjoy flying with a sense of accomplishment and competency in their flight hours. So that, I think, covers just about everything that we had. There was one slide before that, John, real quick, and this one is just a re-emphasis. If you did not receive an email invitation for this event, please let John Dowd know your email address and you will receive the associated press releases. And so this concludes the King Schools portion of the press conference. I thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Darius.